Hello, everyone. I wanted to provide an update on some pretty neat features that, as far as I have been able to see, no one has really been talking about when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy. The Hogwarts Legacy accessibility features have been released. In order to find them, you would have to go over to the main Hogwarts Legacy page, which I'm on right now, and then you would have to click on the option that says Customer Support. There on the top right side of the screen. That'll take you to the portkeygamesupport.wb.com website, where they have specifically built a page for this particular section, along with some other facts. But the one we are looking for is right at the bottom here, a little bit more to the bottom, where it says accessibility. You've got Hogwarts Legacy accessibility features, Alley. So let's take a quick look at that. And here we go. We've got the table of contents for Hogwarts Legacy. They are split up into visual, auditory, motor, cognitive, general, and accessibility feedback. So first up is the visual. So you've got text-to-speech. Narration for menu items is available in all supported languages. All players are initially guided towards the text-to-speech feature on the first launch, allowing for the most complete customization of their experience from the start. The volume and voice of the menu reader narration can also be customized. And then you've got a colorblind mode. Colorblind preset modes edit most user interface and most heads-up elements that might not be accessible to all in their original colors for players that may need them to be tailored to protanopia, red-green, duratanopia, red-green, or tritonopia, yellow-blue. So this is basically for those individuals who have a hard time seeing certain color schemes. Like you'll see the color red, for example, is usually used to showcase enemies or things of that nature. For people who have those sorts of conditions where it's difficult for them to see those sorts of colors, this actually makes the game a lot more easier for them to be able to play, and they wouldn't be struggling as much. Display settings. Brightness can be adjusted at any time. Motion blur, chromatic aberration, depth of field, and film grain can be toggled on and off. And then you have text scaling. An option is offered to scale the majority of in-game text to larger, easier to read size. Perfect. So as someone who is low vision, the worst thing for me is not being able to read a game, because they designed the game to have essentially 12-point fonts. There's a lot of games out there, like the new Star Ocean game, when I played the demo, where I just could not read the menus because it was incredibly tiny. So for me, that was already a game I'm not going to buy because I cannot read it. So it looks like when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy, I will not be having that issue, and neither will any other individual with lower visual acuity who may benefit from this as well. They'll also be able to enjoy the game. And then you also have high contrast text, an option that sets the background of text to pure black or white depending on the screen to be easier to read. For me, that just seems like common sense, because if you're going to be including a text box in your field for when characters are speaking, you have to have that contrast there so that if there is, for example, the color white, in most locations, most games usually give white text as the color option. You can still be able to read the text on a background if for whatever reason, for example, you might be going into a white background or a character wearing white suddenly pops up on the screen. If you have white on white, like I have seen in some games in the past, then you're not going to be able to see the letters anymore, right? This high contrast option for the subtitles essentially does away with that issue. And then you have the camera shake, where players can set the camera shake intensity from 100% to 0%. This, I would imagine, is going to be useful for individuals who have motion sickness or anything of that sort. I know for me, I have a similar thing where I cannot leave the rumbling on my computer, on my controllers. I always make sure that that is turned off because it distracts me and I just find it very intrusive when I play my game. So this would be similar to where it's motion related. So they have removed that issue as well. And then you have auditory, separate volume controls. Individual controls are available to the players to configure, and it's separated into music, sound effects, and dialogue, which is good to have those individual volumes. Some people might only need the music to be lowered or raised. Some might benefit or might enjoy only lowering the sound effects. Others might lower or raise just the dialogue option, right? So you have plenty of options there. And then this is an important one. Subtitles. Subtitles are turned on by default. Speaker indicators are tied to important character lines. Subtitle size scales with UI text adjustments, which is very good. I don't know how often we will be seeing the speaker indicators. I think it would be better if I'd be able to tell who is speaking regardless of whether they're an important character or not. When it comes to subtitles, I'm not an expert in that particular accommodation. My accommodations typically rely on visual acuities, but I'm curious to see how the indicator on who is speaking will be implemented once it releases. And then you have spatial audio. The game supports spatial audio for varying speaker setups, which is good if you're into that, I would guess. And then you've got the audio visualizer. Key sound effects can be visually displayed on a wheel around the avatar during gameplay to assist players who might be deaf or hard of hearing. A legend is available for the icon displayed under the audio visualizer icon key in accessibility options. The icon size and transparency can be customized, so that's actually good. Because there are individuals who may have more than one disability, right? I have several, even though vision is my main disability. But you could have someone who, for example, has a mixture of low vision and hearing impairments, right? So they would be able to benefit from using this particular option where they are increasing the size of the legend icon so that they're able to tell who is speaking and things of that nature, right? And then you have motor section here. You've got the A mode. Aiming can be altered between hold and toggle. For me, that's always very good because if you have a condition where you're not able to hold things for very long, all you've got to do is press one button. For me, I have a minor motor issues with my hands, so having to press those games where you have to hold something really causes some slight pain. I prefer to only have to press one button once, and then boom, I'm done. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to be in pain when I'm playing games. Invert the axis. Camera axis can be inverted independently. Flight controls for broom flights can also be inverted. Sticks swap. Sticks functionality can be swapped, with the default being the left stick for movement and the right stick for camera controls while aiming. Those I would imagine they're referring to what would be considered, at least for PlayStation, the left the L3 button and the R3 buttons. Sensitivity. The sensitivity of the cursor, aiming, and camera can be adjusted independently. Camera and aiming accelerations can be tweaked, as well as camera dead zone. Follow camera speed. The speed at which the camera turns to face the direction in which the avatar is going to be tweaked. Can be tweaked. PS5 exclusion motor sensor function allows the player to use the gyro functionality of the DualSense controller to control flight while on a broom or mount. That sounds neat. And then you have cognitive. Difficulty options. 4 difficulty options are available to the player, affecting both combat and puzzle difficulty. At the story difficulty, spell learning mini-games requiring precise movement cannot fail. Puzzles will be time sensitive, and difficulty can be changed at any time during normal gameplay. So that's good. This gives us the option to kind of change it up. Tutorials. Tutorials during the first time user experience introduce players to the different mechanics of Hogwarts Legacy. More tutorials remain on screen until dismissed by player input. Let me actually zoom this in here so I can see better. I'm not as close to the screen as I'd like. Perfect. Okay, now I can read it better. Objective reminders and guidance. Quests are organized in the menu in different subcategories. Players can be guided to those objectives with in-gameplay lore-friendly guidance. Minimap is always displayed with the trail to the next track objective visible while on foot. So this is actually a good one, because it can actually help people out who need them. And I believe I read somewhere that there is also an option to kind of turn that off if you find that it's too intrusive. If that is the case, then it would benefit people who like having the minimap and people who don't like having all of their screen cluttered by things of that nature. I know for me personally, I like having that kind of guidance there to kind of know where to go so I don't get lost, but I know that others don't like all the space that it takes up. And then they've got the settings tooltips. All settings are accompanied by tooltips to inform the player of what is affected. Auto-saving and manual saves. Hogwarts Legacy includes an autosave feature which saves progress at key moments during gameplay. Players can create save files as well. And here we have where you would go just to be able to provide more information on the feedback that you'd want to give towards the accessibility. So I will actually be planning on putting some in once I get my hands on the game after it releases. But I am looking forward to seeing how they implement accessibility, how it compares to other games that have implemented accessibility, and how they can improve on what has been implemented. Which setting was the one that you are looking forward to? Feel free to let me know in the comments.